Ronnie Gharibian, welcome.
Appreciate it.
Uh,
I
this
see
is
a lot
one
of
of
familiar faces here. Oh, this is good. People I haven't seen for a long time. Hello, everyone, and some new
uh,
ones.
yes, you know very well about our Glendale Association, our history, and all that stuff. I'm gonna cut that portion of our introduction short. You know that we have probably close to 1,500 members, 1,200 of which are 1,200 of whom are actually voters in the city of Glendale. So you do the math with our friends and family and our clients' sphere of influence. We reach a good portion of Glendale voters, as you can imagine. So our conversation with you today matters. We would like to hear directly from you on some of the questions that we've prepared to ask you. First, a little bit of a ground rule. We'll give you about a couple of minutes to give us an opening statement. After that, we will start with our first question from our president. And hopefully, time allowing, we will complete about 6 questions in total, Ronnie. After that, you'll have one final opportunity to give us a closing statement, and that will conclude our interview. So, with that said, you got the floor, Ronnie.
Thank
Tell us
you.
all about yourself.
Well, first of all, thank you for the opportunity to meet and introduce myself to you guys. As far as opening, just overall, my background is the one that people who do not know. I've been involved in the city activity for quite some time, 15 plus years. Currently, I'm a commissioner for last 8 years with ARMIC. I'm in the same commission. I have been in the Glendale ANCA for many years. I was even chairing the Glendale ANCA for a while. So I've been pretty much behind every candidate in either GUSD, GCC, City Council, been working with them closely, some from the past, some present, to help them. So I'm familiar with the process, the needs that is needed, and all the political aspect of it. As far as the non-political aspect of it, obviously, I'm married with family and two teenage daughters. Glendale resident for 43 years. I went to Hoover High School here. So been in the industry of mortgage for almost 34 years. Started in 1991, 30 actually, yeah, 34 years. So I know the market as well and the needs. At the same time, we see where overall, I don't want to talk about nationwide, but locally speaking, Glendale, cost of living, affordability, population, new things, bike lanes, such as developments, new legislations, new. So there's a lot of things are happening as around us, and obviously, any city needs as much help as possible to be able to maneuver along these informations in a proper way, in a smart way, in a way that sometimes you don't want to reach a point of no return. You want to be able to, sorry, let me put this on mute. You want to be able to help and move forward in a much calculated, smart way of educating people at the same time. Just because sometimes we're in the business, we forget that just the regular Joe doesn't understand this, so it needs to be explained to them as well. So the my time in last 15, 20 years into the community has been there. I've been on the Glendale St. Mary's Board of Trustees. I've been on at the moment, I'm on the Prelacy, Executive Board of Trustee of the Prelacy, oversees 7,000 students and the churches and the members. So I have been into the community. I have been active into the community. I've been listening to them. I've been hearing them. Granted, I have last 12 years TV program, which Eddie had some. I remember those days that Eddie used to have it. The last 12 years on the British Genius channel every Sunday for last 12 years, which I give financial news in general news to the community. So It's time to step up, and obviously, but Aura stepping down opened up that third seat, so I don't need to really run against the incumbent, even though for them being elected is their issue. But I'm running for that third empty seat, and I've been on the Glendale board of, I'm sorry, Glendale Police Foundation for the last few years. I'm also a member there, so I have a great relationship with the police and fire. Obviously, safety is one of our number one questions. So yeah, it's time to step it up and roll up the sleeves and be on the front line instead of on the secondary line all these years.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for that. Given that we started a little bit late due to the technical difficulties, I would like to suggest, if possible, to stay within 2 minutes response time so that we'll ask you as many questions as we can. We appreciate that. First questions coming from our current president, Drew Gharibian. Drew?
Good morning, Mr. Gharibian. My question is in regards to revenue measures. To address Glendale's projected structural budget deficit, would you be in favor of placing any of the following taxes in order? Parcel tax, real estate transfer tax, a sales tax increase, or a vacancy tax on residential or commercial properties? Thank you.
Right. Obviously, tax it's a no-go for anyone, whether we like it or not. We don't want any taxes. As far as transfer taxes, any of those, no, I don't think. I mean, Glendale is one of the cities we don't have it. We should stick to that. Sales tax, I know that they're working on it to put it on the ballot soon. I don't know if it'll be before my time or it'll pass until it's on it. But tax shouldn't be the only revenue stream because that's the easy way out. So we should be able to come up with other revenue sources, even on a business license tax. That's something that we can look into. We're the only city doesn't have it, but we also at the same time don't have headquarters in the office. We need those headquarters here. Only Service Titan is one of the main ones we have. We don't have any headquarters here, but the business sales license tax is one of the options. And also developers. We don't have any developers here, and we need those developers to come in so we can have general revenue by having those developers come inside and fix. And also the contracts. We can do a lot of savings due to those automatic renewal of contracts that the city just signs. Any contracts they have, which there is so many of them for years and years and years, they just renew them with the increase without thinking, okay, how are we going to replace that funds? So yeah, sales tax, any taxes, I'm not for it. It should be a last resource.
All right. Thank you so much. Next question comes from our immediate past president and the current FGLR committee chair, Eddie Minassian. Eddie?
Good morning, Ronnie. How you doing?
Yeah, fine.
Ronnie?
Yes, Eddie. Hi, thank you. Good to see you.
Same. So my question to you is regarding council district elections. Do you support or oppose transitioning Glendale from at-large elections to district-based council elections, and why? If you support districts, how many should Glendale have, and what criteria should guide the map? If you oppose districts, how would you address the city's CVRA exposure and potential litigation costs?
Right. Districting, I was told in the last forum we had on the Homeowners Association Northwest, I said I'm not for it for multiple reasons. One, as always, if it's not broken, why fix it? So far, we've been just going forward with the way it is without districting. Obviously, has the pros and cons, but the way so far, what we have witnessed in our city council and the way it's moving forward, the city in general, already having difficulty, five of them to come up with any understanding to work with each other. That fights is always there. Now imagine if it's districting, and I care about my district in South Glendale, and I'm going to push for specific things that will affect the entire city. And I don't care what happens in North Glendale or the other way around. I don't think we're the type of a city that districting, because our entire city is diversified equally, almost equally. It's not like we have a concentrated Armenian or concentrated Filipino or concentrated Latino areas. We're pretty much scattered everywhere. So districting really not going to help a specific demographics of any particular race or type or income generated. Yes, South Glendale versus North Glendale, but that's not enough to do districting. So no, definitely I'm not for it, especially at this time that is not fixed. As far as lawsuits, you know what? There's a lot of talk out there, but let's see when that time comes. I don't think we're going to have any of those happening soon.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Our next question is going to come from our current board member, Pam Adami. Pam?
Yes, good morning.
Good
This
morning.
question has to do with housing types and development. In general, which types of housing development do you believe Glendale should prioritize? Large apartment buildings, mid-scale, multifamily developments, approximately 8 to 16 units, ownership housing such as single-family homes, condominiums and townhomes, or a balanced mix depending on location?
Well, obviously, single families would be great. Just matter of lack of land to build those on. Maybe you can find one or two here and there, or just get an older one and upgrade it. But that's it. As far as condos, definitely for a starter, as we all in the business, newlyweds, young generations, not everyone's doctors and attorneys start their business with 300,000-400,000. Even if they do, they have a whole bunch of student loans that they're killing them. So definitely we need a starter home. And starter homes in Glendale, again, it's a balance. Why it's expensive? All the good reasons: safety, security, police, all that stuff is the reasoning it is expensive, or geographically close to downtown, and so on and so forth. So the reason why it's expensive, it's justified pretty much, I would say. But as far as is that enough for the newlyweds or new generations or new couples or we need condos, because that's where what we can build pretty much because of land uses, to have affordable condos as a starter. So they get their feet wet, get in 650,000 condos, few years until their first child comes, and then they can sell with benefit and move up and move on to another one, especially when they'll establish their incomes and businesses matter of years. I think definitely we need more condos for sale in Glendale, that's for sure, to be able to help people to start and not to move out of Glendale because of affordability. As far as rentals, the ones that so far we have witnessed, the one on Central and the one coming up on Sears Tower, the 620 some units on Sears location, these are pretty much, as we all know, these are very 400, 600 square feet studios and one bedrooms. Does not help the community. These are just transitory people from out of states. They come here, they Google safest city, Glendale, but doesn't benefit us at all. So yeah, city probably gets property tax at best. But other than that, doesn't help a family of four to move into any of those because they barely have any two bedrooms. And if they do, the rents are so expensive. So definitely we need condos for sale. Definitely we need condos for rent, but not that type. We need more family-oriented, two bedrooms, average condos, and even senior housing. Our seniors definitely need a place to stay. Not everyone's, able to survive, so we definitely need senior housing too. So we need a mix of everything, obviously. But first, we have to see what we have. But at the same time, has to be a balance. These Sears and Central and that type of condos, unfortunately, doesn't help our community immediately.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next question is coming from our LGLR committee member and a past president, Rick Boniadi. Rick?
Hi, Rick.
Good morning, Ronnie, and thank you for joining us today. Nice to have you here. My question is about bike lane policy.
About what?
Bike lane policy.
Oh, bike lane, yes.
Bike lane policy, yeah. Do you support or oppose removing vehicle lanes to create bike lanes only? If you support lane reduction, what evidence do you have that voters agree? And if you oppose lane reduction, what alternative mobility improvements do you propose?
Right. Let me start out. No, I am not for bike lanes. I am for bikers, and they need the safety, obviously. But this is how I see it. When try to do self-driving cars, the programmers that program that self-driving car, when it comes to an option, say, okay, there is a crash potential, you're going to crash to the car in front of you, and you could die. So they program it so the car steers to the right or left, so you won't crash and die. But at the same time, on the right side or left side, there's pedestrians, and by you steering, you could kill the pedestrian. So what does the programmer programs to eliminate yourself or the potential pedestrian? So this is where the problem becomes for the programmer. But as an individual, you're driving, the choice is yours, and naturally, your first instinct is not to eliminate yourself, to go to the right. Now, we're putting that bike lanes, we're protecting that biker, which it makes sense. You have to protect them from the cars. But at the same time, the person who's driving on those streets with a single lane, with additional 30 minutes sitting on traffic, they have to wake up the kids extra 30 minutes earlier to get them to the school because of that bike lane. They're going to take side streets. They're going to take different ways to go around it. And those side streets, that's where the kids are playing. That's where the suburbs and people are walking. They're doing their morning walks. Now you're putting those lives in jeopardy because you have a lot of cars, they're late, and they're rushing onto the side streets. So there's a balance. These studies has to be done perfectly. You can't just slap it on, this is a great route for this biker. Maybe we can put hours, maybe we can limit the biker's hours, but you're still taking off a lane, even if the biker is there or is not there. But I don't mind if you do lining, white lining, instead of just putting blockades up. Let's see if bikers do come. Let's see how much bikers we get at what time. Let's do more study. Let's see another alternative routes instead of main corridors that would back up the traffic. So maybe we can take them side streets for a biker getting from point A to point B. I don't think they want a shorter route. Their whole purpose is to bike. So I'm sure they would like. So no, I'm not for it. I think a lot more study has to be done. Going single lane does not. They say, yeah, single lane will slow down the traffic and maybe the speeding and the reckless driving. Well, they're not thinking that reckless driver and that speeder just took that car to the street next door that the kids are playing in the front yard or riding their bicycle. So we have to be careful what you wish for.
Thank you, Ronnie.
Thank you. All right. Your next question is going to come from Vegan Azarian. Vegan.
Good morning, Ronnie.
Hi, Vegan. How are you?
Fine, thank you. So my question is the following. As you know, the city of Glendale has a deficit in their revenue, approximately $20 million. And to compensate for that, they're looking for various options. One of them is to start developing publicly owned parking lots, such as Montrose or around the Civic Center, into mixed-use housing. Do you support or oppose such a development? If you support the idea, how will you address the parking displacement and protect small businesses?
Absolutely, yes. Two things. First of all, generating revenue through these sources is not really a way of doing that, but converting parking lots into those. And what kind of revenue do you really get beside the property tax and all that? Again, they're trying to focus on type of the residence that is transitory for the individuals who live there, so it doesn't bring any businesses and resources to the city. But two things. First, we have to make sure, again, do enough studies. Does it affect the entire community's style, the type of the community that it's in? So you cannot just put a 9-story, 6-story, or 5-story, 400 square feet studio rentals on Verdugo next to the church that does not comply to that location. Compatibility, it's a huge factor. As we all know in the business, if you have an average of 2,000-3,000 square feet homes in a neighborhood and then you build a 10,000 square feet, How do you appraise that? It's not, compatible to the area. So it has to be that compatibility. Just the same way you go to a wedding, you don't put shorts and flip-flops on. It is not compatible to the area. So it has to be compatibility to what kind? How would it benefit the neighborhood? Maybe we should have mixed uses. Maybe we should have open areas. Things that the neighborhood can use instead of just like a sore thumb sitting there and benefit. There's no benefit plus traffic and congestion. But if you build it in a way that it benefits the community, something maybe similar, small mini Americana. There are retail stores, coffee shops. People can sit there and enjoy. The neighborhood can sit there, have an ice cream there, and there are residents on top. Some studies, or maybe open areas or open park areas, some things that would definitely help the community and study enough and not to rush into judging those things and immediately put up buildings that it's boring and useless. I'm not for it, but definitely smart way of approaching it. Definitely we should look into it. The one in Montrose, obviously we know it's almost in the end of its lifespan right now. If they touch that, even when they pave it, asphalted, you have to go with the ADU compliances, and there's going to be millions and millions, and the city's not going to spend that money there. But we can definitely force the city to do it smart way that would benefit the stores and the businesses and the owners there instead of just putting buildings up and rent it out.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ronnie. Your last question, and we are at the bottom of our time. However, the next presenter is not in the waiting room, so we'll play it by the ear. Carmen Rome has a question for you.
Yes.
Hi, Ronnie. Thank you for joining us today. My question has to do with rent registry. Do you support or oppose a mandatory rent registry in the city of Glendale? If you support it, what specific data should be collected and how should sensitive information be protected? If you oppose it, what alternative data sources should the city rely upon for rental market analysis?
Mandating anything, I'm not for it. Mandatory anything, unless it's a safety issue. But other than that, if it's not a safety issue, mandating, it doesn't work that way for me. I'm not one of those to say that. So how would they go around it? I think they should put some incentives for the landlords. So through incentives, they should be able to attract them more instead of mandating it and enforcing them. So just to cut it short, yes, I'm not for it to force it, but incentives, definitely, it's a way to attract landlords to participate.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate your presence. I apologize for not being able to give you last 2 minutes, given
Okay.
our time frame, how it started. We do have our next presenter here. So again, thank you very much for being with us.
I appreciate
All
it.
of us.
Nice seeing you all. Thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it.
Likewise. Thank you.
Bye-bye.